Avatar 3 is finally here, and with so many questions surrounding the current state of Hollywood, and if they can even deliver a great blockbuster anymore, James Cameron seems to be the guy really fighting for the theatrical experience, and doing a damn good job, mind you. I went to go see it today, and after a long runtime of 3 hours and 17 minutes, I'm happy to say that I walked away really enjoying this movie and probably more invested in it than I've ever been in this story. Let's first get into some things that I really loved about the film, because there's a lot there, and there's quite a bit that really unfolds the lore of Pandora even more than what we knew before. And that's where I'm gonna start. This movie does a really amazing job with its visuals and its world building. We are definitely given a spectacle feast with very vibrant landscapes and beautiful nature that is just so detailed, and it looks absolutely stunning. I mean, really seeing just that on the big screen is an experience in itself, and it matches up perfectly well with all the different creatures that we are shown, whether by land, sea, by sky. And I really enjoyed that it feels very George Lucas, with every movie is introducing us to more species, more cultures, and more places to really fill out this world. And honestly, that's really one of the best parts, is really just seeing what's out there, what else exists on this planet. And the CGI is on point too. You know how everyone always jokes about the CGI from like 2008 and Davy Jones looking better than anything of the CGI that we've been getting? Well, I think that we got to keep these movies out of that, because they continue to look really good, and I even noticed improvement from the second film to the third. Another really cool aspect is meeting these new Na'vi. In this movie, we get introduced to the Ash people, who is led by this crazy ass character, Varang, who's played by Una Chaplin, who is just all types of badass and very captivating. This volcanic clan, they have a very tragic backstory that's really rooted in natural disaster, leading them to reject Awa and turn to the worship of fire. And even though their story is a sad one, it's so cool to be introduced to another clan that doesn't see things the way that the rest of them do. They aren't the good guys, and it changes the dynamic of just being Na'vi versus human. And bro, when I tell you that these guys are violent, matter of fact, this whole movie is violent and actually hits some darker tones, and the violence gets pretty brutal sometimes, with the Na'vi and animals just like mauling people and doing hella extra. I was actually incredibly shocked at some of the angles it took and where it went at some places. But this new group ultimately opens up even more lore of the world of Pandora, making the world feel so much more lived in and populated. And they do a good job at adding some tension to the story. There are definitely some brutal mofos, and add this edge to the film that is really crazy and does a whole lot to really raise the stakes. Another highlight is really the characters and the performances that we're given. I'm not going to spend too much time on the performances, because honestly, by now these actors are just committed, and by now they really are these characters, and they do an amazing job. But as the characters, man, like Neytiri, she was a standout for me this entire movie. She's badass, very direct, and she is down with the shit under any circumstances. She's talking to Jake crazy, she's talking to the Saeed crazy, she's Neytiri throwing down, man. All of the Sully kids, they do a really good job too, and they really are the kids of a warrior. Loak is a really great character with so much more growth in this movie, that if Jake was to die and Loak was to take over as the lead role, I wouldn't mind following him at all. The character really came into his own in this third film, and his journey of being an outcast and feeling that he's always at fault to being a very heroic and inspiring figure was really fun to watch. Our main antagonist, Colonel Miles Quaritch, I really like him, dude. He grew on me even more here, because he's not our villain just for the sake of being a villain. Like he genuinely feels betrayed by one of his own, and that betrayal led to the deaths of good people that he cared for. Don't get me wrong, he's definitely an asshole and definitely a villain with the way that he treats a lot of the Na'vi people, but I think that you really do understand his motive and why he's so hell-bent on revenge against Jake. And he does bring a lot of wit that also brings some really funny moments in dialogue. And you can't really deny the charisma, bro. He's one of those likable villains, if you ask me. And Little Spider, bro, he's a huge part of this movie and really surprised me with how much of his own weight that he pulled. I wasn't too sure about bro in the last movie, especially after saving the Colonel's ass at the end of it. That really pissed me off. And admittedly, when he does get emotional, the flaws in his acting ability really start to show. But hey, He's young, he can get better. I'm not gonna spend too much time on that one, but he was actually a really integral part of the plot, and his resilience and his dedication to the Sully family was really cool, and it was a lot of fun. I honestly had a really good time with every character that was in this movie. Lastly, just kind of giving my overall thoughts about the story here, because I know that there are a lot of mixed opinions out there. I just gotta say, for me, I really loved it. To some, it may feel like a single story that is carried on far too long, with the Earth's military constantly coming back with a reincarnated version of the villain of the first film. But I love it because they sell it. The actors sell it. And you got to remember too, this is an attempt at worldwide colonization. I would imagine that that war would go on for quite some time. And now with the kids involved, the stakes are higher. With new clans, the stakes are higher. And with some new information around Spider, it adds a whole layer of what's to come. And again, the stakes are higher. Terminator had the same end goal for every movie, and honestly, in my opinion, it didn't start getting really bad until after the third film. But I'm really enjoying my time with this story, and I'm really interested to see where it goes in the future. I think that we can kind of tell if they decide to continue, but I'm really interested to see how that plays out. Really, the only negative that I had about this movie was early on in the film, and it dealt with Spider. And without saying too much, it was just simply the plot of all of a sudden, Spider has a battery in his mask that he needs to swap out and charge so that he can stay breathing. I don't know where that was ever noted in the second film, because the kid is running around the whole time and we never see him run low ever. And I know that we could technically make that implication ourselves, but it felt really out of nowhere with how much of a big deal they were making it here in the third film. It really was just used to shoot Spider up the important totem and give us the story that we got. But other than that, I really enjoyed this film for what it was. A spectacular, heartfelt, action-packed, and beautiful looking fantasy story. I think that it is absolutely worth the theater experience with a solid 9 out of 10 from me, which is saying a lot too, because I got a confession. The second movie I actually fell asleep on twice. I went to go see it in the theaters. For whatever reason, I passed out both times. And I did not watch it until last night in preparation to go and see this third movie. And when I watched that second one, oh man, I felt so bad because the second film is really good. My wife was with me in the theater and we both fell asleep. And I told her after I watched this third film, I told her we messed up and I need to show you these other two films because these movies are dope. And I loved this third film, maybe the second best of the franchise. If you are somebody who went to go check out Avatar 3 Fire and Ash, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments below. I'm interested to know which one is your favorite of the three so far. Also, let me know if you think that they're actually going to do a fourth, because I know that that's kind of the general consensus, is that the plan is for 4 and 5, and they definitely left it open for that being a possibility. But also the way that it ended, I wouldn't mind this being the end of a really good trilogy. Now, let me know your thoughts on that below. That is all we got time for though today. I appreciate you if you stuck around to the end of this video. Please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so that we can get this video out to more people, and also you don't get left behind and miss any future content that gets put on the channel. But y'all make sure to stay geeked. I'm out, and be smooth.